Whitney Houston tonight. Husband Bobby Brown reportedly broke down in rehab with the most shocking allegations yet in the couple's superstar marriage. Sylvia Viagran has the stunning revelations.
The secrets behind the marital war of the roses that's raged between Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston, some say, has finally been revealed. This time, Bobby bears all. The only problem, it's a confession that came right in the middle of a Betty Ford clinic therapy session.
It couldn't have been easy for Bobby. Here he was, in a room full of strangers, trying to be as honest about himself as he could.
In this week's Globe magazine, the laundry list of Bobby Brown's shortcomings and propensity for booze and babes is well documented.
He said that he was addicted to cocaine, gambling, booze, and sex. He said that he would start boozing, he would start drinking beer early in the morning, and at weekends, Bobby said, he was snorting up to 30 grams of cocaine.
So how could any man, especially Bobby, married to one of the loveliest pop songbirds of our time, carry on like such a lout and a brute? Well, get ready for this one.
The biggest shock came when he announced that Whitney was bisexual. He blames Whitney's bisexuality on his womanizing, and he says that he felt less of a man because Whitney was attracted to other girls.
Despite the article, insiders claim rehab is helping Bobby. He's becoming a changed man, well on the road to recovery.
Bobby just broke down in tears. He said that his addictions had lost him his wife and had lost him the love of his baby daughter. And he said he just couldn't wait to sober up so that he can hug his baby daughter.
Bobby missed his last court date due to his stay in rehab, and Whitney's publicist vehemently denies that she's bisexual.
Remember a few weeks ago, right here on The Gossip Show, when I told you that I thought Bobby and Whitney were going to get back together because they really did care about each other? Well, rumor has it that Whitney is in tears every single day because, you know, Bobby is in rehab and they won't let her talk to him at all. Now, the counselors at rehab feel that Bobby needs to stand tall and get on his own 2 feet and work out some things in his head before he has any contact with his family. But doesn't keep Whitney from calling every single day.
And giving us a run for our money, literally. Roger Lodge has tonight's Hollywood Buzz.
Chase me! Chase me, you love me, don't you? Watch me, chase me!
Yes, of course, everybody loves you, Whitney. That was proven last night in Los Angeles, where the pop diva was inducted into the Soul Train Hall of Fame. A solo Whitney was all smiles, even on the sensitive subject of Bobby Brown.
Superstar when she helped make The Bodyguard into a mega hit as a movie and as a soundtrack in 1992. Now she's out to prove she can do it again with her second movie, Waiting to Exhale. She talked with E.T.'s Bob Goen.
This has not been an easy time in Whitney Houston's personal life. Her publicist has confirmed that Whitney and husband Bobby Brown are having problems, and reports persist that Bobby has entered a rehab program. But professionally, Whitney is as successful as ever. Her second movie, Waiting to Exhale, opens just before Christmas, and she's a big part of the film's soundtrack, singing the just-released theme song, Exhale.
Is there pressure after the album from Bodyguard to reproduce that kind of success?
Not to reproduce the kind of success, because I don't know if I'm really going to do that again.
It's almost impossible.
I'm not looking for the Bodyguard success, you know. I want people to take Exhale for Exhale, you know, and if it is as large, wonderful, you know what I'm saying, all the better. But I'm not trying to outdo myself.
The music video features Whitney in dozens of stunning close-ups that I just couldn't resist asking her about.
Everything is like right there.
Right there,
yeah.
in your face.
Yeah. Were you nervous about that?
No, I suggested it. It was my idea. I just wanted it to be here because I wanted the lyrics to speak to people, and I wanted them to know exactly what I was saying.
But as hot as Whitney's career is now, she's also a working mom, one who's always looking out for her 2-year-old daughter, Bobby Christina.
Will you encourage her to get into show business, or
no.
Steer her away from it?
No, I won't steer her away, but I won't encourage her. I would just like to see what she has, and then encourage that.
Right.
And see.
Right.
Now, obviously, everybody is curious about Whitney and Bobby's marital situation, but that's just something she's not comfortable talking about publicly just yet, and we respect that. But I'll tell you something, if this is putting pressure on Whitney, it does not show. This woman just looks like $1 million, both in person, in the movie, and in the video that's coming out for Exhale, and I'm sure that the movie and the video are going to do very, very well.
Well, she does look great. I'm sure they'll do well, but I still hope you get to sit down and talk about some of those personal things.
You know, she has to deal with it a little bit first and take care of it personally, and then when she's ready, she'll let us know.
You took a big chance when you did this thing. She punched you right out there. No, thanks, Bob.
Thanks, guys. Waiting to Exhale is due out
It's been going around the music business the last few days because Whitney Houston and Janet Jackson are going up against one another in the battle of the Dorothy Dandridge movie biographies. Now, you might remember Janet's been talking for years about her desire to do a feature film of Dorothy Dandridge, the tragic, sultry screen goddess who used to be called the Black Marilyn Monroe. I mean, Janet has done research on it. She's worked on music for it. I mean, Janet really had her mark on this project, or so she thought, until a few days ago. And then, guess what? None other than Whitney Houston comes along and snaps up rights to an important new Dorothy Dandridge biography that's going to be published next year. And Whitney's saying she wants to get her movie set up fast, maybe even within a matter of months. So where does that leave Janet? Well, I understand she doesn't even have a script yet.
With her new film, Waiting to Exhale, the star hopes to focus attention on her career again. I sat down for a heart-to-heart about her movie and her marriage.
Everyone falls in love sometimes.
The three-octave diva of pop may be going through tumultuous times with Bobby, but Whitney has someone who makes it all worthwhile.
I got a beautiful baby girl who's my sunshine in my life. And that is the joys of getting married and having families, you know, having children, is to look at that baby and to know that I now live for her.
Thoughts of Bobby Christina were on Whitney's mind when I spoke with her this weekend in San Francisco. Our conversation turned to Bobby. Just this year, he was arrested twice. He narrowly escaped death in a Boston shooting that killed his sister's fiancé, and he checked into the Betty Ford Rehab Center.
So we all hear about your relationship, your marriage with Bobby, how bad it is, how bad he is. What do you say to all that, Whitney?
I don't say anything to it. I'd rather not. The media hasn't been very nice to either one of us. So I'd rather not than to do it and to say anything, because it is not me, Bobby, and the world. It is me and Bobby, and not the world.
But what the world will see is Waiting to Exhale. The 5-time Grammy winner stars with Angela Bassett. While Whitney found big screen success in 1992's The Bodyguard, she says Exhale is closer to her heart.
The Bodyguard was a romantic thriller, you know, someone's imagination, but this stuff is real. I've been around women like this. I grew up with these very strong and very bold and powerful women.
The story is about 4 African-American women coming to terms with themselves.
What do you hope Waiting to Exhale will say to women and to men?
We first have to like ourselves. We first have to try to some way make ourselves happy, because there is no guarantee that a man is going to do that for you.
She looks great. Well, Waiting to Exhale
about
opens
husbands
next
and
month.
lovers and the trials of marriage. Whitney told me about all that, but she wanted the world to know that when it comes to her daughter, her rule for the rest of the world is hands off.
I find that I am now more defensive because I want to protect her very much. And I'm very, very protective of her. And I will fight you. And I will tear your house down brick by brick about her.
Whitney Houston is talking about her daughter, Bobby Christina, not yet 3 years old. She intends to shield her from the press coverage of her very public troubles with Bobby Brown, her husband and the father of her child.
See, the more I think about it, the more I look at you, you look like the scum of the earth.
And now, Whitney is starring in a new movie called Waiting to Exhale that in some ways parallels her real life. She plays a woman named Savannah, on her own, looking for Mr. Right.
I say Savannah is me without the fame.
I mean, that girl can talk dirty and she can drink and... Are we hitting the nerve here?
Yeah, oh yeah. Savannah can get down, and so can Whitney.
Is that right? Oh, my. Whitney herself has also had romantic ups and downs, but she can laugh at that, too. Have you ever had a date from hell?
I invited Eddie Murphy to my house one time. He's not going to like that. And I invited him to dinner And I remember he said, yeah, I'll be there. And I pre-cooked and all the stuff, and he never came.
You did all the cooking?
I didn't say it was all that. No, because I went to his house and choked him. No, not quite. No, but I invited him and he didn't come.
Do you want me to say something on your behalf? And
no, I already said it.
You did? What'd you say?
Can't tell you
Can't tell me that? Thanks, Whitney. You know, she embodies that rare combination of beauty and real backbone. It's an ideal formula for finding stardom in Hollywood and then hanging on to it. If you want to see some of it, Waiting to Exhale opens.
Whitney Houston is standing by her man. In an interview in next month's Vibe magazine, she admits she and husband Bobby Brown are having marital problems, but she says she's still in love and she wants to work the problems out.
At one point, Whitney looked at Bobby Christina and said, this has to work out. Almost like she's looking at her daughter and thinking, there's more of a reason.
Whitney Houston acted in a movie and sang on its soundtrack album. Lots of good things happened for her. The film was The Bodyguard, which grossed $292 million in theaters and spawned the best-selling soundtrack album of all time, featuring the inescapable and torturous for some chart-topping single I Will Always Love You. Houston's at it again, starring with Angela Bassett, among others, in the new movie Waiting to Exhale, due out next month, and singing on the film's all-star soundtrack, which arrives in record stores this week. She recently told us about the movie and how she had to be coaxed into singing on its soundtrack. Take a look.
When you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find a point when you will exhale.
I had decided actually that I wasn't going to do any music at all for this. I didn't want to do any music because I just wanted to do the acting.
Imagine the dismay of director Forrest Whitaker upon finding out that Whitney Houston would not be singing on the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. The last time Houston sang on a soundtrack album, it sold 32 million copies worldwide.
Of course, Forrest goes, well, I just don't understand Whitney. I just don't. He's very soft-spoken. Whitney, you're not going to do anything, you're not going to do any music on this? Well, I want Babyface to do it. And then, of course, Babyface says Babyface, and I go, oh, man, my friend Face, you're going to get Face? What am I going to do? So I said, okay, all right, maybe just one, and then it became 3.
Why does it hurt so bad? Why do I feel so sad?
Houston cringes at the notion that she is just following pop music's latest trend by teaming up with R&B mastermind Babyface. In her mind, she may have started the thing.
Let's go back. I'm Your Baby Tonight. That was how many years ago? Before Madonna, before Boyz II Men, before them all. It was Face, LA, and I. Okay. Do I have to say any more?
Count on me through thick and thin, a friendship I will never end.
In addition to the 3 new Whitney Houston songs, all but one of the album's 16 tracks was written and produced by Babyface.
Came up with a wish list of who I'd like to work with and who I'd like to have on the record, and fortunately, the wish list came true.
The soundtrack features a dream team of R&B female vocalists, mirroring the spirit of the film, which revolves around 4 female friends.
When I saw the roster of other female artists, it was fab-boo. It was great.
At first listen, the songs may seem a little simple.
He's got these shoops. These shoops. I'm going, oh, God, he's run out. Jesus, the man has run out of songs. Oh, my God. Shoop, 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 a doob.
Everyone falls.
I heard the lyric. Everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's right. For every win, someone must fail, but there comes a point when you exhale. That's poetry. We all want to exhale sometimes. Just go, whew.
Waiting to Exhale is, in fact, about relationship problems between black men and black women, something Houston, now separated from her trouble magnet, underemployed husband Bobby Brown, knows all about. In fact, Houston talks about her marriage in the new December-January issue of Vibe magazine in an interview conducted 2 days after she and Brown were separated in September. Says Whitney, quote, "We will work our problems out, not we in the world," adding that Brown is, quote, "a good man who has, quote, a temper from hell
On two
doesn't like."
of Billboard magazine's music charts. The new ballad ranks first on Billboard's top 100 and R&B charts, top 100 and R&B charts. But life's not perfect for Houston. In the December issue of Vibe magazine, the singer talks about her relationship with Bobby Brown and how they will rely on themselves, not the world, to solve the problems in their stormy marriage.
Debut next week at #1 on 4 different Billboard charts. And she's jazzed about the movie, too, as she told E.T.'s Bob Goen.
Ma, I am sick of you telling me how I should live my life, who you think I should love, marry. Ma, I'm sick of it. Don't you raise your voice at me.
Whitney Houston told me that one thing she has in common with her character Savannah is the close relationship with her mother. But Waiting to Exhale means more than that. It's about 4 fun-loving women, each waiting for the perfect man.
To the best blow drying, scissor scalping, bumper curling, braiding, weaving, get this gray out of my head dying, beautician west of the Mississippi. Happy birthday. Oh, thanks.
These were women that I am familiar with, that I grew up with, that I can identify with.
The one man I love is married with a kid. And there's my life in one little sad nutshell.
We have now the chance to say and tell how we sit around and talk about men the way men talk about us.
And you do.
Oh, usually some of that footage is on the floor, man.
At least he told you he was married. Yeah, but see, I'm not your average 24-year-old girl who's willing to wait around and count the days. I'm 33 years old. Ooh, good. And I still look good.
And when Whitney finally finds her Mr. Right, Waiting to Exhale becomes more than just a name.
Thank you, Jesus. And then I did it. I closed my eyes and I exhaled.
You know, a couple of years ago, Whitney may have been a little nervous about her acting chops, but with the success of her first movie, The Bodyguard, and with the positive word of mouth about Waiting to Exhale, she seems very confident now in her skills as an actor, because even before the release of this new movie, she had already signed up to co-star with Denzel Washington, no less, in The Preacher's Wife, and Penny Marshall is directing that one, and she'll keep up just fine. The cameras are scheduled to roll in January.
A time for starting over. You are the only woman that I have ever loved. And letting go.
You're leaving me for another woman.
And for these 4 friends,
I like a woman with a little meat on her bones, you know?
the best is yet to come. 20th Century Fox presents a story about love.
I don't know if I can trust him. Girl, you're so crazy.
About loss.
I always thought if I gave him what he needed, he'd give me what I needed.
About life.
What do you want from a man?
Everything.
Could you be more specific?
About us.
Give me some.
Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett, Leela Rochon, Loretta Devine, and the year's most exciting soundtrack.
I hope he's not watching me walk away.
All right.
He's watching.
On December 22nd, the wait is over. Waiting to Exhale, rated R. Starts Friday, December 22nd.
Just to be there. The ending of the Whitney Houston Bobby Brown saga were disappointed this weekend. Roger Lodge explains in tonight's Buzz.
Whitney Houston wiped away her mother's tears of joy at the International Achievement Awards in New York Saturday night. Maybe Mama was happy that Whitney's estranged husband Bobby Brown was nowhere in sight.
To Mommy and Daddy, you are the wind beneath my wings.
But Whitney was not so sweet with her mom once she got her off stage.
Come on, come on, come on.
And what's the deal with all the fur coats? This obviously wasn't a party for PETA. And unless that's a fake fur, even Whitney was politically incorrect. Plus, our sources tell us that back home, she has a mink bedspread. Well, I guess you call that a diva duvet.
Very honored.
Whitney Houston was honored by the Michael Bolton Foundation, and she even shedded a tear when her mom, Sissy, showed up to sing her a song. Paula Abdul and Bolton, whose foundation benefits underprivileged kids, also performed.
I want everyone to know that I had tried to make a difference.
Out of her new movie, Waiting to Exhale.
After a breather, you'll meet Whitney one-on-one.
All this and more on Stars when Hollywood One-on-One returns. One-on-One.
And welcome back to Hollywood One-on-One. I'm Scott Patrick. Remember back when you enjoyed hearing Whitney Houston sing, "I Will Always Love You"? Back before you heard it played 17,000 times on the radio? Back when the song was still fresh in the movie The Bodyguard? Well, that was back in 1993, the first and last time we saw Whitney Houston on the big screen. Well, now Whitney is back in a new movie. No Kevin Costner and no singing. The film is Waiting to Exhale. Here's a preview and an interview with the woman bound to leave you breathless, Whitney Houston, one-on-one. A hit song, a hit movie. Not a bad movie debut for Whitney Houston. After The Bodyguard, seems everyone in Hollywood wanted Whitney's body to star in their movie.
Nerve, give me some real breasts.
She waited 2 years for the right film. It's Waiting to Exhale.
I'm 33 years old. Ooh, good. And I still look good.
Based on the Terry McMullen bestseller, it's a story of female bonding and male bashing.
The one man I love is married with a kid.
It's the story of 4 women waiting to exhale.
It's amazing what can happen when you give a man control over your life.
These are the women doing it for themselves: Whitney Houston, Leela Rachel, Loretta Devine, and Angela Bassett.
I'm leaving you for her.
You wait a minute. I give you 11 years of my life, and you're telling me you're leaving me for another woman?
They are put through the fire, and they let the men in their lives feel the heat.
So we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer than I expected.
You see, the more I think about it, the more I look at you, you look like the scum of the earth. I understand those times that aren't good with men, and those times that are...
Hell, it's been 5 months. And he has gotten on my last nerve.
The basic familiarity of sisterhood, you know, of talking with 4 sisters, you know, having to be in a room with ladies like, you know, like you saw. I'm familiar with that. I understand that.
Oh, she's so nasty.
Waiting to Exhale was a woman's book, Caucasian or African American. It's just a woman's book, and most informative for men, I'm sure.
You look so beautiful today.
I mean, I was just thinking, this movie really comes at a terrible time, because I think men as a gender are really close to perfection. You know,
Oh, really?
we're caring, sharing,
Yes,
loving,
you guys are just
beautiful human beings.
angels from heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't do without you, can we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this male-bashing film comes out, and
Yeah, you know. Well, just think of it this way. Remember all those times you guys sat around and talked about us?
Yeah.
It's your turn. It's your turn. It's your turn.
Does he think he just did something here? I could have had a V8.
Although the film stars are all women, the movie is directed by a man. Actor Forrest Whitaker making his feature directorial debut. He did want to create a stereotypical chick flick, and Forrest didn't want you to see the typical Whitney Houston singing.
Why do they write these damn songs?
This is as close to Houston singing as you'll see in the film. Was there any point where Forrest came over and said, you know, when you're looking at Dennis here, this would be a good time to just kind of go, you will.
No.
No matter what we are a family.
I didn't think there was a need for Savannah to sing. You know, there's a part where Savannah's getting dressed and she's listening to Whitney Houston's record, How Will I Know? And I was like, can't do
Was it
that.
really?
Yeah, in the book it is. We had to change all that, you know. But,
Well, at least you like Whitney Houston. It could have been a terrible thing if it was in the script. He's like, get that off.
Yeah, that was nice.
If she doesn't sing, she's dead anyway.
And if Whitney has her way, you won't see her sing in a film anytime soon. And you won't be seeing a sequel to The Bodyguard ever. Although there is buzz of another Bodyguard, Houston says it won't include her body.
What happens in the next one? She flies back in, and she looks... Now, he's the stalker now. He starts stalking her. Kevin starts stalking me, right?
There you go.
I don't think so.
There was some talk, though. I heard that. And that, no? Zero? Nada?
It's been done. I mean, you know, you don't want to try to do what's done. It's major. It's the 10th best-selling movie in history. Where do you go for now?
Right now, you know where to go to find Whitney Houston. She's waiting to exhale.
But there comes a point when we exhale, yeah. Say, shoot, 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 baby. All you gotta do is say, shoot, baby.
Next up for Whitney Houston, another non-singing role. She'll play the Bishop's Wife, a remake of the 1947 Cary Grant Loretta Young film. Whitney will play wife to the Bishop, played by Denzel Washington.
For four friends,
You're leaving me for another woman.
love will leave.
The more I look at you, you look like the scum of the earth.
Love will return. Love will begin.
I hope he's not watching me walk away.
All right.
He's watching.
And through it all, they'll have each other.
I'm 33 years old. And I still look good.
Waiting to exhale.
I still look good. You look good, girl.
The wait is over.
Exhale. If you've been holding your breath for Whitney Houston's new song, relax. Exhale is the first single from her new movie, Waiting to Exhale, which co-stars Angela Bassett. Speaking softly at the soundtrack's New York premiere, Whitney predicted great things for this music.
Dealing with the men in their lives in their new movie, Waiting to Exhale, and the stars were not about to let E.T.'s Bob Goen off easily either.
You see, the more I think about it, the more I look at you, you look like the scum of the earth.
In Waiting to Exhale, Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett, and their friends encounter just about every kind of Mr. Wrong there is. And that put me, the guy here, immediately on the defensive.
There's a little woof-woof in all of you.
Yeah, now don't lump me in with all of them.
Well, now, come on, go back to your days. Come on.
Well,
come on.
Well,
come on.
I don't know.
Come
Let's
on.
see.
Come on. I haven't known you for long, but I know there's a woof-woof in you.
You didn't read something about me.
I'm leaving you for her.
You wait a minute. I give you 11 years of my life, and you're telling me you're leaving me for another woman?
I don't think I've been a jerk like that.
You've never spoken a half-truth.
Okay, I'll take your
All
word
right, Bob, we know
for it.
you've never mistreated anyone. You've always been stand up and right and always considered her and wanted
You're
her
doing
to be
great.
the best that she could be, and never broke a date, never broke a heart.
You've hit them all so far. I can't think of anything you left out.
You're special. What planet are you from?
With 4 African-American actresses in the lead roles, Waiting to Exhale is certainly a rarity among films. However, the movie has a very wide appeal.
I think our Caucasian sisters identify. I've had so many Caucasian women walk to me and say, girl, I know what that was all about. Girl, how you doing?
During the 10-week shoot in Phoenix, the women had plenty of time to bond, but I was surprised about just how they did it. You went bowling with Whitney? No kidding. Let me see your fingernails. Can you? Well, I guess you could bowl with those fingers. So who won?
She did.
Did she really?
Her team.
Well, having a couple of powerful stars like Whitney and Angela really can help sell a movie, and so does a soundtrack album with Whitney Houston all over it. That album is #1 on this week's Billboard R&B chart, and so is the single Exhale, Shoop Shoop. Movie opens a week from Friday. John?
It sounds like they were both out to get you, too.
They were picking on me, and I'm tired of it.
Almost hostile territory there. Should have gone bowling with the gals.
Go in there armed the next time.
Has fallen in love with the female dream team.
You look so beautiful.
What are you waiting for?
Ooh, give me some.
Whitney Houston is dynamite.
Some of us are still on that dream trip, girl.
Angela Bassett gives an Oscar-caliber performance.
I haven't seen anything as splendid as you.
Waiting to Exhale will take your breath away.
I closed my eyes and I exhaled.
Waiting to Exhale. Have you exhaled yet? Rated R. Now playing.
Throwing the Waiting to Exhale party.
25 tickets for Waiting to Exhale.
First, the movie.
Hi, Oprah. We're at Showcase Cinemas in Connecticut, one of your favorite places, and we are psyched tonight because we are here to see...
Waiting to Exhale! Then, back to Gales for a snack. The movie has women asking whether they have to lose themselves or their self-respect to get and keep a man in their lives. That's what they were saying at Yolanda Jackson's house. Come on, girl, let's go. When she hosted a Waiting to Exhale party at her home in Miami.
There's so many people out here going, child, you don't need a man. Girl, you don't need a man. You don't need a man. You don't need him. I mean, I think it's too much. Your family cannot give you what a man can give you.
As we were leaving the theater, there was this one guy walking out and he was saying, all guys aren't like that. You know, I mean, it was just really interesting to see that.
It wasn't about men and male bashing, it was about women and about us.
Right.
And how we need to look internally for what we need.
Every woman out there in this world has to find herself and please herself before she can please a man, a family, a mother-in-law, anything.
For me, Waiting to Exhale reflects that sort of moment in your life when you go, I don't have to worry about all that.
Right.
You know, I mean, I have everything I need inside. It's not about brothers and cars and Benzes and whatever.
Powerful, uplifting, inspired. The #1 movie in America. The wait is over. Waiting to Exhale is here.
Ooh, give me some.
And critics are calling it tender and funny. Filled with spirit, spunk, rage, and honesty.
Some of us are still on that dream trip, girl.
Waiting to Exhale tells it like it is.
If I'm blind, I'm flying.
Rated R, now playing.
Has fallen in love with the female dream team.
You look so beautiful.
What are you waiting for?
Ooh, give me some.
Whitney Houston is dynamite.
Some of us are still on that dream trip, girl.
Angela Bassett gives an Oscar-caliber performance.
I haven't seen anything as splendid as you.
Waiting to Exhale will take your breath away.
I closed my eyes and I exhaled.
Waiting to Exhale. Have you exhaled yet? Rated R. Now playing.
$15 million to make, and critics said it would be a flop. They were wrong. Waiting to Exhale is a hit, a big hit. It's based on the best-selling book and stars Whitney Houston and Angela Bassett. But Exhale has more than a breathtaking cast. The reason for its success is something Hollywood never anticipated.
And then I did it. I closed my eyes and I exhaled.
It is the movie people are talking about, Waiting to Exhale, a holiday sleeper that the critics thought would flop. They were wrong.
Ooh, give me some.
Since its release on December 22nd, Hollywood executives have been surprised to learn that not all ticket buyers are young or male. It is women, mostly African-American women, who have made Waiting to Exhale the country's #1 flick. Marcy DeVoe is the president and CEO of an LA public relations firm.
Finally, Hollywood has discovered that there are African-American women in America who have money who will go see a movie that reflects their lives.
And they will go more than once. We asked this group, ages 26 to 56, for a show of hands if they plan to see Waiting to Exhale again.
Of course.
Or if they've stopped talking about the movie since they saw it first.
No. Oh, God, I hope he's not watching me walk away.
Waiting to Exhale has become more than a movie. It's become an event. The lines are long, and women flock to see the film in groups of 20 or more. Afterwards, they hold exhale parties, much like the one seen in the movie.
The one man I love is married with a kid.
Exhale is about 4 successful African-American women who may share a problem with every woman who sits in the audience. Men.
I still look good.
If we thought honestly, there was a little bit of each one of those characters in us.
And experts say that's part of the mass appeal, that most women, black and white, identify with at least one screen character.
It's not an issue of color. It's not an issue of sex. It's a human issue.
And the success of Waiting to Exhale may send a strong message about middle-class working women to the studios that make the films.
We have our fingers on our dollars in our wallets, and we're just waiting for you to give us something that we want to spend the money on.
But there comes a point when we exhale.
Now there's one star in the movie who you won't see listed on the marquee or in the credits. Should we tell you who it is? Okay, it's Wesley Snipes. Wesley apparently wanted the 4 women who star in the movie to get the attention they deserve.
Based on Terry McMillan's national bestseller and directed by noted actor Forrest Whitaker, Waiting to Exhale features an all-female soundtrack which includes Aretha Franklin and TLC and 3 new songs by Whitney Houston.
To wish you well, you'll find your point when you will exhale,
The soundtrack and the movie are like hand in glove. They just fit. The songs speak about every emotion that the women go through.
Here's the peace of mind and all the happiness that your heart and hand can hold, because Lord knows you deserve it.
And how does Houston think men will respond to Hollywood's latest female-centered movie?
I hope that they leave with a positive understanding of what is happening and Waiting to Exhale. I think men alike, black, white, you know, Asian, will be informed of something that maybe they weren't privy to before. You know, we talk a lot in this movie. You know, we relate. We talk about any and everything. You know, including men. Very much so. But hopefully, it'll be a positive response.
Movie star of the 1950s. Extra's Libby Weaver tells us why these divas are dueling.
You're my inspiration.
Gorgeous, glamorous, and just plain classic. That's Janet Jackson in her latest music video, 24 Play.
Just like in the movies.
But the beautiful black and white images have inspired an ugly battle between Janet and Whitney Houston to portray 1950s actress Dorothy Dandridge, a true film pioneer in the eyes of film professor Todd Boyd.
Arguably the first black female diva.
Dandridge was the first black woman to earn a Best Actress Oscar nomination for her role in the 1954 musical Carmen Jones.
And once I got you, I go my way.
Now, Whitney and Janet both want to tell her life story. Janet seems to have an early lead by imitating Dorothy in her new video. Also, she reportedly wants to base her script on a book written by Dandridge's former manager, Earl Mills.
She said she read my book 3 times and that she's serious about wanting to do a film.
But Whitney says she too is intrigued by Dandridge and has already bought the rights to another Dandridge biography.
Ma, I am sick of you telling me how I should live my life.
As far as experience, both women have acting credentials. Janet made her feature film debut in 1993's Poetic Justice, while Whitney stars in the current hit Waiting to Exhale. Todd Boyd thinks a more experienced actress like Angela Bassett or Halle Berry should get the role, but
If I had to pick Janet Jackson or Whitney Houston, with a gun to my head, kicking and screaming, I would probably take Janet Jackson.
although Boyd says Janet has more range as an actress, Vibe magazine's Danielle Smith says this pop diva duel over Dorothy may very well end in a tie.
And I think that if they both want to do Dorothy Dandridge films, they are both going to do Dorothy Dandridge films.
She makes a point. Now, Janet has her video, but Whitney has already hired a screenwriter to put her movie plans
And the
into motion.
sexy male DJ whose voice is driving women wild. Well, tonight, for the first time, we reveal the face behind the voice. Sylvia Viagran uncovers Whitney's mystery man.
This is K107 broadcasting live from the Hermosa, and this is where the party's going down.
He's the smooth-talking voice in the smash hit Waiting to Exhale. Now, Hard Copy uncovers the mystery man behind that sexy voice.
This Theo, who's this?
His name is Theo, a radio disc jockey for LA's The Beat, whose voice is deceiving and whose appearance has surprised many.
Were people shocked? They listened to you, you have that voice, that kind of Barry White thing happening. And then they see you.
Nah, it's usually mostly just the only people that are ever really upset with me are some of the fellas whose girlfriends listen to me.
And now, Hollywood producers are going after Theo.
They want me to read for Tom Cruise's next movie, so I'm like, you know, then Hard Copy, and, you know, where's it gonna end? I'm actually like the DJ voice throughout the movie.
Okay, so we didn't see you, we just heard you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe next time.
No wonder Whitney Houston and her beautiful co-stars are out of breath.
You know, I recently went #1, so I guess people must like something I'm doing.
Phones ringing off the hook tonight from women wondering where all the real men are.
Savannah, Bernadine, Robin, Gloria. 4 friends, determined to face reality.
The one man I love is married and got a kid.
You tell my baby girl that her daddy loves her.
To find the perfect love.
Michael is not pretty, but he's available.
You get the best loving in the world when a man is begging.
Oh! To take control of their lives.
I'm leaving you for her.
You wait a minute. I give you 11 years of my life and you're telling me you're leaving me for another woman?
And to make dreams come true.
Would you like to have dinner with us tonight? There's just leftovers. Collard greens, some cornbread, some candied yams, a little potato salad, fried chicken, peach cobbler, 2 slices of ham. I have no business eating it myself, big as I am.
I like that. I like a woman with a little meat on her bones, you know?
Ooh, give me some.
20th Century Fox proudly presents.
But I have to admit, I haven't seen anything as splendid as you since I've been here. Okay, hold on now, hold on. You don't have to give me that look.
Whitney Houston.
I know if I left right now, it would be the wrong time. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer than I expected.
You see, the more I think about it, the more I look at you, you look like the scum of the earth.
Angela Bassett.
I need somebody to hold me, even if it is a damn lie.
Leela Rashan.
Does he think he just did something here? I could have had a V8.
And Loretta Devine.
Oh, God, I hope he's not watching me walk away.
All right.
He's watching.
In a story of the challenges that make us stronger.
I always thought if I gave him what he needed, he'd give me what I needed. You know, some of us are still in that dream trip, girl.
And the friends that get us through it all. Waiting to Exhale, directed by Forrest Whitaker. Coming this Christmas, soundtrack available on Arista.
Waiting to Exhale, starring Whitney Houston and Angela Bassett, breathes life into a theater near you next week. Bassett in Waiting to Exhale, it opens next week.
And E features Waiting to Exhale.
Everyone falls, sometimes it's wrong.
Here's the peace of mind and all the happiness that your heart and hand can hold.
Based on the best-selling book by Terry McMillan, Waiting to Exhale is the story of 4 friends, played by Whitney Houston,
Nerve, I give me some real breasts.
Angela Bassett,
I tap danced for a man for 11 years. I'm not about to go out and get me a new one.
Leela Rashan,
I slam dunk him tonight.
and Loretta Devine.
I could be home watching Good Times.
We're friends. We're definitely friends, but we're sisters. You know what I'm saying? We're sisters connected by life and by circumstances and events in life that lead us to bonding together, you know? That have a lot to do with sometimes the absence of men.
Mama, I'm 33 years old and I live alone.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yes, and I may have to accept the fact that I may live alone for the rest of my life.
Whitney Houston is Savannah, the practical one.
I'm smart, I work hard, and I'm a good person. If I allowed myself to think like you, I guess I'd be a dead woman.
It's about what you are going to deal with or what you're not going to deal with. When it comes right down to it. How you want to be treated and how you don't want to be treated. What you will accept and what you just ain't going to accept.
You wait a minute. You're telling me that you're leaving me for another woman?
Angela Bassett's Bernadine is a scorned wife with a score to settle.
You can love someone and not respect them. I think it's easier to love someone that you respect. If you respect yourself,
I think that gives you peace of mind.
Thank you, Bernadine, for making this easier for me.
There's some people who got plenty of peace of mind, and they're perfectly unlovable human beings. But they feel good about themselves. They don't have a problem.
Leela Roshan is Robin. As the book says, if love is a two-way street, she's been on a dirt road.
Does he think he just did something here? I could have had a V8.
People have had the audacity to say to me, oh, she's the dumb one. Oh, my God, this woman runs a corporation. You need to read the book again. You know, she's a very compassionate person, and she's very trusting, and she has to learn that you can't trust everybody. You can't trust these men.
Loretta Devine completes the cast as Gloria, a single mother who gets an unexpected chance at love.
Would you like to have dinner with us tonight? It's just leftovers. Collard greens and cornbread, some candied yams, a little potato salad, fried chicken.
I think she thought she was happy in the life that she had. She'd accepted some things. She decided that some things were impossible. Like she'd given up on men altogether. Yet she was raising a young man, so that's sort of a paradox in itself.
To be honest, I don't have no business eating it myself, big as I am.
I like a woman with a little meat on her bones, you know?
And he says the right thing to give her, to empower her, when he says that I like a woman your size, you know.
Oh, God, I hope he's not watching me walk away.
All right.
He's watching.
Kind of overall theme of the movie is pretty, it's not gender specific. I mean, it's like, I want to feel good about myself. It's like finding a sense of self and feeling happy with where I am and who I am,
Target. No.
Actor Forrest Whitaker makes his feature directorial debut with Waiting to Exhale. He was drawn to the project by the film's universal appeal.
This movie is, from a woman's point of view, it is from a female voice, but that overall theme is for men as well as for women. I mean, it's definitely for me. I'm trying to always, just have a sense of self-power, feel good, be happy, find peace.
The four women share a journey in search of happiness, companionship, and fulfillment.
I think they all know that, life is like this series of hurdles. And, each one at a different time in their lives are jumping over one. And if not, the other one's there to help them. That's what this is about.
I think women are just remarkable, strong, secure women, intelligent women, mothers. I mean, we're just amazing.
I haven't seen anything as splendid as you since I've been here.
Sisterhood is a strong force in these women's lives, but men are part of the picture too. Gregory Hines plays Marvin, the man who sweeps Gloria off her feet.
I think as soon as he sees her, he's smitten.
It's been 5 months, and he has gotten on my last nerve.
We're not dogging men, and it's not a male-bashing movie. And it's not putting men in a negative light. It is just different versions of men and different versions of women.
Everyone's holding their breath and waiting to exhale.
Exhaling is it's a sigh of relief, either something good or something that you've come through that's not so good. I can be relieved, that kind of exhale. But I could be like this. Oh, thank you, Lord, for getting me through that one. It's relief, whatever it is, it's relief.
The secret to all this female bonding, when E features Waiting to Exhale continues.
Boris, he served us the Cristal champagne.
Wait a minute.
E features Waiting to Exhale. Welcome back.
I've seen it. I watched it. It's really cool.
To the best blow drying, scissor scalping, bumper curling, braiding, weaving, get this gray out of my head dying beautician west of the Mississippi. Happy birthday.
Waiting to Exhale is the story of a year in the life of 4 close friends.
We get to get together and have our say and talk like we know men do about us, And we were good in this movie, really. We were good. Yeah, we were nice, believe me.
I hope you find true love and get you some that's so electric, you ain't gonna need no blow dryer. And so juicy, it's gonna put an end to your 10-year drought. Oh, she's so nasty.
Nasty.
Ooh. Oh, come on, y'all. Raise them up one more time. Let's get serious now.
Well, you can't divorce your family, you know, but you do choose your friends, you know, and probably your choice says something about you, the type of men and women that you surround yourself with. It says something about who you are.
Playing these friends are 4 talented actresses who are as different from each other as their characters are.
It's important for them to be different, but yet still be connected. Because, you know, you cast in a movie, you want to get the right people together, and you want them to come together and the energy to be right, you know, and they're like a quartet, you know, they have to have different voices.
No matter what we are a family. I can't
That's right. This is my moment.
You still have to, it has to have arrangement underneath, it has to have the chords, it has to have all those things underneath, and they kind of play that music in me.
Give me some.
The music underneath for the women in Waiting to Exhale is based on a special understanding that cast members experience in their own true life friendships.
We understand each other very well. And we're able to sit down and talk about things open and honestly. We can cry with each other, we can laugh, we can piss each other off, we can cuss each other out if we want to. But in the end, you know, we're okay.
You know what's funny? I always thought if I gave him what he needed, he'd give me what I needed.
I think it's because they love each other and they're used to sharing things. And when something devastating happens, like someone lose their husband, I mean, that's when you really come to their aid and support. And I think that's when you need friends the most.
You know, some of us are still on that dream trip, girl.
Oh, yeah, your real friend's going to tell you the truth about themselves. You know?
I'm telling you, Chloe, this is how women get screwed. Too lazy to look out for yourself, so you put all your trust in your husbands. But I finally got the answer. Just never get married.
I just got that answer. I thought you had answered to something.
You know, but a friend who'll pull your coat, that's what your mother used to do. Wait a minute now. You're messing up here. Check yourself.
That's a real thing.
I really appreciate that in my friends' shoulder to cry on. You know, when you need crying, and then they think, ooh, look at this weakling, pitiful person here. But it's like, it's okay. No, that's just for a moment. You're going to be all right tomorrow. I will. All right.
Help me a lot. Come on. Like I can bend a note, you can bend a line.
Creating that sense of comfort and camaraderie on the screen was no stretch for this cast.
We had a couple of weeks to rehearse and talk and gab and get to know each other and share tidbits of things. So it was wonderful. It really was. It was sort of like the birthday party in the movie.
The one man I love is married with a kid. And there's my life in one little sad nutshell.
Men do leave their wives. At least he told you he was married.
We were there. We were having a great time. I know. I remember when we were rehearsing that, and I mean, a couple of the other ladies had planes to catch. I mean, we were having so much fun. It was like, Layla, you're gonna miss your plane. You're gonna miss your flight back to LA. It was like, I can make it in 10 minutes. Anyway, you know, what are we talking about? Yeah, it was just great and immediate.
Yeah, but see, I'm not your average 24-year-old girl who's willing to wait around and count the days. I'm 33 years old.
Ooh, good.
And I still look good.
Rehearsal was, what do you like to drink, and bring your favorite music. Does it get any better than that? We had a ball. And by the time we got to do these lines and got to do the scene, we all knew our characters. We knew what place emotionally we were at that party. And that's why it's like all hell breaks loose at the party.
You look good, girl.
Fly diva.
Mm-hmm. Freak.
Mama. Hoochie coochie diva.
No. All y'all go to hell.
And we went on for hours and hours, really. That was the longest birthday party in the world.
The Things We Do for Love, when E! Features Waiting to Exhale continues.
Let me just go along with the feeling just so he'll get off of me.
Hi, I'm Leila Rashawn, and welcome back to E! Features, and we're talking about Waiting to Exhale.
All you gotta do is say,
Action.
I don't know why they call this mess happy hour.
Waiting to Exhale stars Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett, Leila Rashawn, and Loretta Devine as four friends looking for love in all the wrong places.
We search for it in others, but we have to find it in ourselves first, though. Yeah. That's the lesson. That's the thing.
You tell my baby girl that her daddy loves her.
It really sets an example that you don't have to put up with certain things, that you need to set your standards a lot higher as women and, you know, let go of addictive relationships because you're not giving room in your life for somebody else to come in.
I know if I left right now, it would be the wrong time. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer than I expected.
You see, the more I think about it, the more I look at you, you look like the scum of the earth. Nothing I hadn't said or thought about before.
My brain was saying, put your hands anywhere else but on my body. Then go home. And don't come back, you human submarine sandwich. But you can't say that kind of thing without hurting someone's feelings. And any woman who's ever had bad sex and what you were thinking and how in shock you were and how, I mean, how insensitive men could be because they're so happy to get it.
Come here. I got you.
You got me?
I got you.
You know how he's carrying on and yes, and he's just so happy that he didn't stop to take the time to ask Robin, you know, what do you need? What do you want? What are you looking for in a man? It went all over his head, you know, and I hope a lot of men learn from that.
Does he think he just did something here? I could have had a V8.
I crack up at Leela's because, you know, she just pretends like just to get this fat guy off of me.
Originally, it wasn't an orgasm verbal. It was just her, like, saying, what does he think he's doing? And I said, no, it'd be better if she was, like, really faking this orgasm.
Let me just go along with the feeling just so he'll get off of me. You know, say my name, Michael, okay, God, you know. That was funny. That was funny. I cracked up at that.
It's hard to find the humor in Bernadine's situation.
I guess there's no appropriate time to tell you this, but I'm going to the party, just not with you.
But you have to admire her flair for revenge.
I think I maybe have wanted to get back at somebody, and this is my fantasy. You know, I did kick someone once. Kicked his foot. That was about it.
She kicked somebody? Yeah, well, I threw somebody's belongings, all their clothes on the front lawn in the middle of the night one time. I did that.
It's amazing to me how many people like the idea of burning up somebody's car and all their belongings. That's kind of sad.
Well, I'm Marvin King. Yeah, I'm your new neighbor. I just fooling around.
Oh.
Everyone in the film gets what's coming to them, one way or another.
I'd just like to welcome you and your family to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Loretta has an amazingly expressive face. You as the audience, you're drawn into. You're drawn into her eyes, and if that's the mirror of her soul or whatever.
It's her soul. I mean, it's her spirit, you know. I mean, You can watch her and her react to things and charged by things, and a million things go through her mind, and a million things show on her face. Yeah. So you want to grab that.
I just don't see why he has to go all the way to Spain when he's already been accepted at Arizona State.
I'm gonna miss him too.
Who's talking about missing him?
You recognize her worth, even if, you know, at various points in the story she doesn't, so that you're there when Marvin's there and he says, "You thought you weren't worthy of love. I love you. I love you." And you're in the audience saying, "Yeah, he loves you. Don't you see how lovable you are?"
Look, he's a man, Gloria. He knows what he wants. Be proud you raised him that way.
I am proud. It's just, he's my baby. You just don't understand.
I understand.
But sometimes, even the most understanding man can't quite cut it.
It seems to me Tariq's the one needs to come to his senses. If you don't mind my saying so.
Well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
My grandmother said something to me one time. She said, "You know what? The men in your life sometimes may come and go, but your friends are forever." And, you know, it holds true, and you hope that you can marry or be with your best friend, you know, if that man can be that person in your life. And, you know, that's really important. Friends sort of love you more unconditionally sometimes than your relationships with men.
God, if this man isn't the one, at least let me dance till I sweat.
Learning to let go when E features Waiting to Exhale returns.
That makes you believe it can really happen. It can be real. If just for 5 minutes.
Features Waiting to Exhale. Oh no, now I really pounded it on the head.
Welcome back to E Features Waiting to Exhale.
Savannah?
Lionel? Hi. How
The studio and cast of Waiting to Exhale are holding their breath over the film's hoped-for success.
I'm like excited. I'm a little scared about it, and I want everybody to love it, and I want to be considered, you know, good.
Writer Terry McMillan's already gotten the personal satisfaction she needs.
My mom died a year and a half to almost 2 years ago, and it's sort of like I walk around, sometimes I'm in the car and I hear this Shoop Shoop song come on the radio, and I just say, "Mom, do you believe this? You know, I hope you're watching."
So what does it take to just let go and
Exhale. I think it's having it all. I think it's having everything in your life be the way that you goal and dream it to be. You know, to fulfill your dreams in your career, to have love in your life, to have a good family.
I don't know which is the more important. I think if you can get all of it, you're lucky.
I excel every day. I don't feel, you know, like I'm holding my breath. You know, maybe there are moments where the work I'm doing is so intense that if I could finish that, I'd probably have a larger breath.
I think we all want to exhale at some point in time of the day. You gotta just take a minute and just breathe in and breathe out for a minute, and it clears you. It does. It just kind of relieves your mind and clears your mind a little bit.
When you feel some sense of accomplishment, when you feel you've given the full measure of your devotion to whatever the task is, when you can stop being super, super critical of yourself.
Dealing with my friends and my family, and I think I kind of exhale, you know, or find that moment of peace.
Like Bernadine says to Gloria, I wish you love, happiness, and all the health and happiness your heart can hold. That's what you dream for.
As another year speeds to a close, E's on the case to give kudos to the entertainers that have dazzled us the most and crown the coveted Entertainer of the Year. Can you guess who that is? FYE Entertainers is next.
On this special edition of Flicks, you can stop holding your breath because what you've been waiting for is finally here. Whitney Houston and Angela Bassett star in a film based on the runaway bestseller, Waiting to Exhale. We've got music from the movie, interviews with the cast, and we go one-on-one with Whitney. Whitney Houston makes her second big screen appearance in Waiting to Exhale, the story of 4 African-American women. The film follows Whitney and her 3 best friends as they try to make sense of life's hardships and their relationships with men.
Now, this is the first film you've done after The Bodyguard. Why this film?
Other scripts came to me, but I thought, this one I like. This one I'm familiar with in terms of being an African-American woman and knowing these ladies and what relationships can do, you know, what men can do to women, what women can do to men, you know, that kind of thing. And I just thought it was very important at this point in time to have 4 African-American women in one film together. The one man I love is married with a kid. And there's my life in one little sad nutshell.
Men do leave their wives.
How different is that to work with a cast where the women are the subject of the movie?
It's wonderful in this movie because, I mean, all the cameras, all the lights, they're on you, they're on the women. And the story that we're telling, it's about us.
I'm 33 years old. Ooh, good. And I still look good.
You're the most famous of all these women. And I'm sure they had some intimidation about working with you. And now the turn is, they've been acting for, I don't know how many years, many films. Did you have any intimidation about working with them?
We all got together before we did this movie. And we all sat down together and felt each other out. And we sat up all night long till like 6 in the morning and just gabbed and talked and had champagne and ate and talked, had more champagne and laughed and rolled and talked, had more champagne. We just had a good time and we got to know each other. I was the most scared because I'm a rookie at this. And I was like, you know, you guys have been doing this for a long time, you know. And Angela, you're the best. And she was like, girl, just go ahead and be yourself and do it. You know how to do it. You know how to turn it on. I know you, Whitney, you can do this.
Oh, no! Lies, all lies.
She's a performer, been a performer most of her life. So it's just a question of getting her spirit and to be free. And if the performance is bad, it clearly won't be her fault, it will be mine.
Do you think Angela's ready to shoot? Angela, you ready to shoot? I'm ready!
Were you at all reluctant to work with Whitney?
Not at all. Why would I be? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But here it's really about an ensemble cast, and were you fearful that her fame might eclipse that in any way?
Not at all. No, no. I thought, here's this woman, as difficult as it is for a black girl to make it in this world, she's a superstar all over the world.
You like they worked me.
I was really glad that she got it because I felt like all the people that come to see her are going to get to see me. And then with the other way around, she'd be in trouble.
It's not all beauty and glamour. We've done it 30 times today. It's all hard work.
I loved her. I was a Whitney Houston fan, actually. I loved her in The Bodyguard. I saw it 3 times, and I thought, God, what a wonderful project that'll open the doors for me one day.
The Bodyguard also opened the door to a career in acting for Whitney Houston. Prior to that film, she was simply a record-breaking, multi-platinum recording artist.
In The Bodyguard, Kevin Costner said, don't worry, I'll help you. Did you help her at all in this movie? Did she ever turn to you for tips?
We had a scene where she shows up at my house, you know, and I like her, open the door, just hug her, and we sat there, and I go through the scene or whatever, and I'm telling her about John, and you have the video playing in the background or whatever, and then, you know, Forrest says cut, and, you know, and then, you know, the tears, and she says, how do you do that? How do you just cry like that? And I said, I'm just looking in your eyes.
When you're working with someone like Angela Bassett, either you're going to be intimidated or you're going to go in there and you're going to just absorb whatever you can from her.
Really, I taught me a lot.
Like I can bend a note, you can bend a line.
Waiting to Exhale writer Terry McMillan's third novel was an instant success in 1992 and remained on the New York Times bestseller list for 38 weeks. Critics and book buyers agreed that the emotional lives of these four women struck a resounding chord among its readers.
What was the inspiration for the novel?
I was sort of looking around at a lot of my friends and myself, and I realized, you know, God, it's been like centuries since we've had a date. And I started thinking to myself, you know, like, why is this so? And what are we doing wrong? What's wrong with this picture? And, you know, writing for me is more like an exploration. It's not as if I feel like I have the answers.
My, this is a pretty place. But I have to admit, I haven't seen anything as splendid as you since I've been here.
What about the guys in the movie?
We're not male bashing as they want it to be. We're not doing any of that. We're not portraying men in a negative light. We're portraying them as we have dealt with them and as they have been.
Okay, oh, hold on now. Hold on. You don't have to give me that look.
Well, it's a movie about women that are making bad choices. These are, I mean, the women are picking the men, you know. But even in that, all the men in the movie aren't bad. Of course, we have Gregory.
I'm Marvin King. Yeah, I'm your new neighbor. I just fooling around.
Oh,
Nice to meet you, Gloria.
nice to meet you.
It's a lot easier to take criticism or a look at ourselves if it's wrapped in humor. It's not easier to laugh at it. I mean, when Wendell picks up Leela like Clark Gable and carries her into the bedroom and drops her on the bed, you know, that's funny. I think that it's possible that there might be some men who might see that and remember an occasion that they might have done something equally as, you know, ridiculous and laugh at themselves.
Oh, God, I hope he's not watching me walk away.
All right.
He's watching. Oh.
I've never been on a film set where the film was owned by the women. It was their story, and they knew it. And that's the way, that's what dominates a set. And on this set, I don't know if I could specifically describe it, but you know, it had a power and an intensity and a calm and a real sense of fun. It was just a pleasure.
Here's the peace of mind and all the happiness that your heart and hand can hold, because Lord knows you deserve it.
Happy birthday, It's an experience and the moments that I shall never forget. These three ladies have become friends of mine, and I know that from here on out, at least once a year, we'll get together to exhale. I know that.
When we come back, we exhale Shoop Shoop with Whitney, and she discusses the movie's soundtrack and working with a grown man named Babyface.
After we kind of talked about it, we both had the same idea. It was really strange to make this album an all-women's album. I said, whatever you do, just make it all women.
Make tonight beautiful.
But for these four friends,
I hope he's not watching me walk away.
the best is yet to come.
He's watching.
Waiting to Exhale, rated R, starts tomorrow.
Exhale Shoop Shoop is the first music video made from a movie heavy with R&B superstars like Chaka Khan, Aretha Franklin, and Toni Braxton. But never fear, Whitney Houston not only stars in Waiting to Exhale, she also sings 3 songs on the soundtrack, one of which she co-wrote with writer-producer Kenny Edmonds, also known as Babyface.
You mentioned music as this comfortable environment, and certainly it is. When you were in The Bodyguard, it was music, it was that environment. This film, it's not. Were you apprehensive about that in any way?
I think a little. I think I was supposed to be. You know, it's my first dramatic role, really, without being a singer, or portraying one, at least. This one, I thought, yeah, this is great because then I can just do this movie with just acting and I don't have to do any singing. I thought I was going to get away with it, but I didn't.
No. How did they finally approach you?
Forrest said, well, what do you think about the soundtrack? I said, I don't think anything. What do you think about it? He said, well, I think I want to get Kenny Edmonds to do it. I said, oh, that'll be great. I said, he's a great writer, great producer, does great work.
One more time from the top.
Then Kenny called me and he said, Whitney, this is what I want you to do. I was like, Face, I'm gonna want to do, like, he said, Whitney, that's impossible. That's impossible to do a soundtrack without you on it. I said, well, okay, fine, all right. All right, I want to do one song. He said, okay, fine, do one song.
Everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong, and sometimes it's right.
You know, it's a Whitney movie. It makes sense to have her on the soundtrack, and I'm just glad that she wanted to do it. You know, because this wasn't like a Bodyguard. It wasn't like it was part of the music. It was just she could have easily not been on the record.
Say, shoot, shoot, shoot,
What does that mean?
Shoop, shoop, shoop is big, you know, and I mean, shoop you could hear since time began. Somebody said, you know, shoop and booby, that you dot booby, that you dot down.
you can.
We wrote this song called Count on Me together, he and I. And I decided to do it with my dear sister, Cece. And then he sends me this song called Exhale. I said, see, he thinks he's really slick. See, he did this on purpose. He sends me this song, and it's a great song with great lyrics, man. And it fits the movie like perfect, and he knows I'm gonna say, all right, I'll record this song. I'm only gonna do this one now. I'm only gonna do two, that's it. Well, we go on and on and on, and then he sends me this other song, and I say, nope. Well, I had this song that I've been holding for 2 years, even trying to make me do it. I'm not doing this song. Why does it hurt so bad? I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not in the mood. I don't want to do this song. And then Exhale comes up, and then I started looking at Exhale, and I started viewing things, and I said, okay, this is the last song I'm doing. I'm doing no more songs. So I got 3 songs on the soundtrack.
Why does it hurt so bad? Why do I feel so sad?
Before I started shooting, Kenny was involved. And then when we started shooting, I talked to him about some music I needed because I wanted to shoot some scenes with the music in my head, you know. And then he would come down periodically because what he didn't want to have happen and I didn't want to have happen was that the music would be like something you just patch on.
Everything was written with the movie in mind, and so the music was written to the actual movie and to the actual scenes in the movie and to feelings that were going on to the movie. So the songs were written first, and then I had to figure out who that could fit with. And it just made sense to me that, you know, the movie is about 4 black, you know, women and their relationships, and I thought, well, maybe that's what the record should be about, is, you know, an album full of women, full of black women.
Kenny was the kind of producer that when he would write for different artists, like, it seemed like he was writing for them, you know? And I needed someone who was going to be able to use different voices because it's 4 distinct women. And the music was going to be subtext and voiceover for me and help me flow within the film.
First thing Monday morning, I'm gonna pack my tears away.
We have Toni Braxton. She's done a song that I love, and it's something that's kind of different for her. It's kind of a left turn for her.
Babyface wrote the song, and we were working on the second album, and I thought it was a great song. And he said that he was writing it for the movie, and I loved it. He said, I'll tell you what, why don't we do it for the movie and your album? So, ta-da, that's how I lucked up. If I weren't there, who knows who could have been singing that song, so I was really blessed with that one.
Just let go, let it blow, let it blow, let it flow. Everything's gonna work out right, you know.
It feels great to be a part of this Whitney Houston soundtrack. I mean, I love Whitney. She's my favorite female vocalist in the world. And when I saw the roster of other female artists, it was fab-boo. It was great.
Then Aretha sings Hurts Like Hell. She's a beautiful piece. It kind of becomes a theme song for the great performance that Angela gave it.
And it hurts like hell. That's the way it feels.
There's only one song that's a cover, and it's a version of My Funny Valentine, and Chaka Khan is doing that one.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine.
I had heard her dabble around here and there with jazz things, catching pieces of stuff, and I knew that she has the ability to go between both worlds, but still she turns it into her world.
Well, I've been singing that sucker for years. It's a jazz standard. Rodgers and Hart. I mean, I have a jazz set in my show that I do 4 or 5 jazz songs. It's one of them, and it's always been one of my personal favorites.
You know, I think that it's been proven that soundtracks really help a movie out, and we've got a dynamic one. You know, everybody turns to me and says, will you give me a CD when the CD comes out, you know, because the music is so good.
And did they play music while you were working on the scenes?
You know, Forrest was really good with that. You know, I had scenes where I had to be in a particular mood or whatever, and he'd ask me what I wanted to hear, you know, when I'm getting ready for Michael to come over. I said, put on, you know, there were songs that I would play, and then Forrest would turn them down, and I'd get into the scene, you know. So music, he's a real musical person, and it helps.
This was not about grabbing a good song or getting a great artist. It was about having a song that's specifically written for the scene, that would specifically aid the scene and push it up and tell you more.
When we come back, Whitney Houston talks about her greatest love of all and the true meaning of success.
Success is not selling 10 million copies of records, really. I mean, come on, if that's what I thought success was, I would really be trying to outsell Bodyguard. I'd have done the whole album of X.
In her new movie, Waiting to Exhale, Whitney Houston stars as a TV producer who struggles with the demands of career and romance, much like Whitney has had to do in her own life.
You've been single, you've been married. Talk about what that means to you, being part of this film.
There are transitions, and there are phases and changes that you go through, single or married. It takes work. And the thing that takes work is to try to be happy with yourself, to like yourself through it all, through the ups and the downs and the rounds and the bouts, and still try to maintain some sort of sanity and try to keep some sort of love in your heart so that you don't shut down. Because it's very easy to shut down and say, I'm not dealing with this no more. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to go through this anymore.
Mama, I'm 33 years old and I live alone.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yes, and I may have to accept the fact that I may live alone for the rest of my life.
Do you think we place too much emphasis on men, certainly for our own happiness?
I think society has done that to us, that we have had to watch the Cleavers and Ozzie and Harriet and, you know, those shows for years that says, yeah, this is what we're supposed to do. I mean, this is what we watched growing up, you know.
I guess there's no appropriate time to tell you this, but I'm leaving you for her.
But man, who knew that, you know, men would sometimes go left and leave us? That wasn't the plan, to leave us with kids, you know? Who knew they had the right to do that?
If you could go back and just change anything in your life, would you? Nothing?
Nothing. Nope. Because then I wouldn't be me.
And why would she change anything? With 11 #1 singles and 2 movies under her belt, she's become an international superstar. But over the years, she's discovered that all this fame has a price.
Pretty much everywhere you can go in the world, people are going to know who you are. Is there a limit to fame? And how do you know when it's too much?
When people are camped outside your house with cameras, waiting for you to come out, for whatever reasons. When they follow your kids to school, that's when you know it's just a bit much. And then you really want to fight. That's intrusive, it's disrespectful, and it's rude.
I mean, part of it is success. You know, you keep selling albums, you do movies, it comes with the package.
So they say. I don't know if that's true success. To me, success is hearing my daughter say, Mommy. That's success.
Having a daughter.
Having a daughter.
Being a mom.
Yes. But hearing her say Mommy and not Whitney.
What advice are you going to give your daughter?
Above all, to thine own self be true, girl. Because if you can live with yourself and you're happy, content, at least that you like yourself. I want her to like herself. And that has a lot to, my mother always said, when you wake up in the morning, you gotta look at you. And everybody knows in their heart and soul when they're right and when they're wrong. And when they're really got to get a hold of themselves. And when you can deal with your wrongs and say, you know, I really effed up. I gotta get myself together. To being true, you can like yourself, you can overcome things, and you can feel like, yeah, I did it. I can exhale, and I'll make it to the next day.
Where do you go from here?
Where do you go from here? You don't. I mean, this is what I do. This is what I love to do. There is never a choice between movies and music. Oh no, there's not a choice. They just go hand in hand. So music isn't gone. It's not gone. It goes together.
Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise. When you've got friends.
Action. Okay, cut.
No matter what we are a family. That's right. This is my moment.
Bye.
Skyrocketing. Her latest movie is out next week, and a song from that movie is heading to the top of the charts. She's never been more popular. But as Elisa White reports, there may be signs Whitney Houston is losing touch with the fans who made her a success.
Savannah?
Lionel?
The good news on the Whitney Houston front is that her new movie, Waiting to Exhale, is ready for release next week. And her theme song for the movie hit the Billboard's album chart at number 3.
You find your point when you will exhale.
The bad news is, in the past, pop diva Whitney Houston has been criticized for being the worst kind of prima donna. But like her movie character, Whitney says she's just tough.
We're independent, we're strong, strong-willed.
And today she's facing heightened criticism for being a super difficult super talent, behavior that reportedly showed itself recently during the making of Exhale. Entertainment reporter Lisa Stanley.
When she was making the movie Exhale with Angela Bassett, it was so difficult for Angela because Whitney turned her nose to Angela on more than one occasion that reportedly she actually had her trailer moved so she didn't have to run into Whitney, other than on the set.
No matter what we are. Representatives for both Houston and Bassett denied the incident ever happened. Connie Breeze, a music reporter, says there's no excuse for Houston to act like a prima donna.
She showed up in Las Vegas an hour late for her show, and she said to the audience, stuff happens. I mean, that was her explanation, not, I know you paid a lot of money, I'm sorry.
Critics say being a disagreeable diva is not exactly the right attitude a pop star should have if she wants to have loyal fans. And Whitney showed up 2 hours late to an engagement last fall at the White House, a dinner in honor of South Africa President Nelson Mandela.
And she said, I just got off tour. But she'd been off tour for 4 days.
Then, in August, the singer tearfully stopped a concert in California. The incident that sent everyone talking.
She put the spotlight on O.J. Simpson and the late Nicole Brown Simpson's children at her show in Anaheim, when the family's out trying to get these kids a normal life.
But with her new movie coming out and filming underway for another, Houston is under pressure to straighten out her sinking image.
Whether she gets it together now, personally, or later, I think professionally she'll always come out on top.
Whitney Houston is in New York right now making another movie. Bobby Brown is with her, and we're told they're talking about having another
But as Jill
child.
Brooke reports, things have changed dramatically.
You know the way to make this heart rejoice.
Lately, the voices of female celebrities are overpowering the men. 8 of the top 10 celebrity endorsers are female. Whitney Houston, Cindy Crawford, Kathy Lee Gifford, and Candice Bergen helped tilt the scales to become commercial heavyweights.
What are you
Only
most
Bill
proud of
Cosby
as far as being a part of this film?
That I did a role, a dramatic role, and it wasn't about singing. It wasn't about Whitney Houston, the singer.
The 3-octave singer is talking about her first almost autobiographical role as a pop diva in 1992's hit, The Bodyguard. Do you feel any box office pressure this time?
I hope that Exhale is as big or not bigger than The Bodyguard, really. It deserves it.
The 32-year-old five-time Grammy winner says she especially enjoyed working with Angela Bassett, who is an Oscar nominee.
I fed off Angela so much, you know, and we just shared, you know, our gifts together.
Like I can bend a note, you can bend a line.
What does waiting to exhale mean?
It is a sigh of relief. There are times that you just have to, made it through that one. I think I can make it through the next.
Excellent movie. I'm going to see it again.
I'm Kim Colt, and I'm sitting here with Whitney Houston.
Oh, Whitney.
And did you notice what we were just doing? We were waiting to exhale.
Exhale.
And this is a film that's coming out tomorrow night, and we're here to talk about it.
Yes.
And it was wonderful because
I'm glad you liked it.
Sneak preview.
Good.
Beautiful women, beautiful stories.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
Yes.
And you're gonna go see it tomorrow.
Okay.
I didn't even let her talk, did I? How do I get Whitney Houston in the chair? And I don't even let her talk.
And if there's one thing you won't want to leave off your list,
That's my toothbrush. Is he crazy?
it's the most anticipated movie event of the season.
Does he think he just did something here?
Waiting to Exhale, from the best-selling novel featuring the soundtrack sensation of the year.
Give me some.
Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett, Waiting to Exhale, rated R. The wait is over tomorrow.
You never thought you'd hear those two names in the same sentence together. And we're here hosting the Waiting to Exhale night on Fox. Waiting to Exhale is the film that Angela's in, and she's wonderful. And it's wonderful. And go see it. It was amazing. Go see it tomorrow night. It opens December 21st. Enjoy.
It's December 22nd, isn't it?
Okay. Thank you.
Anything to get their men to see Waiting to Exhale.
No, I promised to iron all your shirts, wash his car,
Never cook macaroni and cheese out of the box.
I would stop nagging him about picking up his underwear off the floor, clean his clothes, all kinds of things. You gonna get us, sweetheart?
And here's what happened.
And it was a blast.
But I thought the movie was great. Okay.
I was right.
All right, yeah, you're
I
right.
was
One
right again.
time. It was funny.
She got to see my sensitive side.
Told you gonna like it.
okay,
He was cracking up.
Waiting to Exhale, rated R. The wait is over tomorrow.
Living single.
And you're Forrest Whitaker,
Yes,
so
I
he
am.
directed me through that whole scene. Speaking of directed, he also fabulously directed Waiting to Exhale. And we're here on Fox doing a Waiting to Exhale evening. And how much fun did you have working with that many beautiful women?
It's a great time. Beautiful. I had a great time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I'm sure you did. They're all lovely. The film is amazingly wonderful. You must go watch. And stay tuned for more fun here on Fox.
14 minutes now before the hour. The first time Whitney Houston ever made a movie, it made $400 million at the box office. With The Bodyguard, she proved that her talent is as electric on the big screen as it is on the concert stage. Well, Waiting to Exhale is her much-anticipated follow-up, and I recently spoke to Whitney Houston about this film, revolving around four women who see each other through the pitfalls of the relationships with the men in their lives.
At least he told you he was married. Yeah, but see, I'm not your average 24-year-old girl who's willing to wait around and count the days, see? I'm 33 years old. Ooh, good. And I still look good.
This is movie number 2 for you. What'd you learn from number 1?
I thought I'd learn not to do another movie, but I didn't. I didn't. But Exhale was such a great script, and it was such an important film for me to do.
Tell me what the movie says.
It just focuses on sisterhood, because we've always, I think, seen the brotherhood side of movies a lot more often than we've seen the sisterhood.
These women pick lousy guys for the most part.
Well, I wouldn't say they're lousy, I'd just say they're guys.
Is that redundant?
Well, I think that people, men and women alike, are not perfect. And we all have our flaws.
Marianne Williamson in her lectures has a good line. She says, the problem is not that you meet these kind of men, it's that you give them your phone numbers.
She's got a point.
Why is it that women like this would stay with these kinds of guys? Or even give them the time of day?
Well, I think love is where you find it. I think it comes in many different forms. I think we also, in the movie, learned about ourselves. We learn our own strengths and our own powers and what we have in ourselves, that we don't need men to validate our lives.
First of all, Ma, I am sick of you telling me how I should live my life, who you think I should love, marry. Ma, I'm sick of it.
Don't you raise your voice at me.
Mama, I'm 33 years old and I live alone. Yeah, tell me about it. Yes, and I may have to accept the fact that I may live alone for the rest of my life.
Is the story particularly black? Could it have been made with a white cast?
Sure. I think every woman will understand and experience what they will see on film. I'm sure that they have experienced. I think every man will see themselves in this movie.
When you're acting, can you put aside the fact that you think of yourself as a singer? When you sing, can you put aside the acting part?
Sometimes in acting, there is a fluidness that happens that I feel also on stage. Things just happen, and they happen naturally. As opposed to acting, I have to remember my mark, I have to remember my lines, I have to remember that the lighting is over here, so I have to, you know, kind of get into that.
Everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong.
I suspect that the business will see the difference when they finally come to you and ask you to do a movie and not ask you to sing the title cut.
It hasn't happened yet. As a matter of fact, I tried to avoid doing the Exhale soundtrack. I didn't want to do any work on it because I really wanted to do this movie and be dramatic.
Joan and Spencer and I were on an airplane coming back from Los Angeles to New York.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen anything like what happened to you when we got off the plane. You got mobbed by photographers who were not in any way very kind.
No home training at all.
Do you get that all the time?
Not all the time. Fame and fortune's a curious game.
Do you ever want to put it down?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just go. I just take off. When I'm at home, I am mommy, I am a daughter, I am a wife, I am a niece, I am, you know, I'm a sister. I'm really not Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston is here today talking to you.
When you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find your point when you will exhale, yeah.
Whitney Houston, we had a chance to talk just a few days ago. She obviously was a bit hoarse on that day. I asked her if she could sing on the day we talked. She said, not on your life. Takes about a week and a half to get the voice back.
Movie, the 1992 smash The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner, made something like $400 million around the world. So did the soundtrack album. Did very well. Didn't make quite that much. But it took Whitney a long time to do another movie. Well, her latest opens today, and now she is waiting to exhale to see if she can strike gold again as an actress.
You see, the more I think about it, the more I look at you, you look like the scum of the earth.
In Waiting to Exhale, four good friends get together to clear the air about the ever-elusive search for love, happiness, and Mr. Right. It's an ironic role that has some parallels to Whitney's recent real-life man troubles. But Whitney says Mr. Right isn't always Mr. Necessary.
Because you don't need anybody but you to complete your life.
And Whitney's personal life hit a sour note back in September when her stormy marriage to bad boy singer Bobby Brown was called off. They are now officially back together. But whatever happens, Whitney can always take comfort in her biggest hit, her baby girl, Bobby Christina.
You've said that motherhood, nothing has been more fulfilling. My daughter teaches me about love every day.
When I think I got a problem, I look at her and those eyes go, oh man, forget that. Yeah, it ain't worth it. Come on, Miss Me, you go out.
And in Waiting to Exhale, Whitney goes out on a limb. For the first time, she's playing an ordinary woman.
I took a pay cut to see if I have what it takes to produce.
People are so used to Whitney Houston and glamorous and, you know, the superstar. And you get a chance to be a regular girl in this.
Yeah, because I am.
You are a regular. There's got to be a side to you. How much of this character is there in Whitney?
I'm a regular, but simple. I'm a simple girl, you know. People think it's, you know, I wake up in the morning and I go, here I am, I'm beautiful, you know. Simple.
I still look good.
You
look good, girl.
But the simple fact is, Whitney is beautiful. And she's been making beautiful music ever since she first struck platinum. As one of the top pop divas in the world, she still has the Midas touch. Her Waiting to Exhale single is breathlessly climbing to the top of the charts.
Do you know what it's like to fail?
First of all, failure is not in my vocabulary. It is not there. Mistakes, faults. It's a little slippage.
I don't think she's slipped much yet. Whitney says it takes her so long to do a second movie like this because she's so picky. She says, you know what, I'm a singer first, not a trained actress. So for her, acting takes so much concentration. She tells me she really has to believe that she can be that character before she takes on a part. But it didn't take her long to sign on for her third film. Whitney starts shooting her new movie, The Preacher's Wife, next month with Denzel Washington.
Ooh,
yeah,
that'll be great. I think this movie in its simplest form shows that there are women of color out there, different sizes, different shapes, different colors, and that they all bring something unique to the table.
It's an important movie. And if
victims of the male affliction may want to catch a Jackie Chan triple feature instead, but Hollywood is expecting women moviegoers to flock in droves to the just-opened Female Solidarity Talkathon Waiting to Exhale, which is based on the best-selling Terry McMillan novel about 4 black women living in Phoenix who just can't find any men who live up to their expectations and who speak of little else. Whitney Houston and Angela Bassett star, ace producer Babyface has contributed an all-diva soundtrack, and the message would appear to be that while men are pretty much a hopeless proposition, women are kind, generous, and caring, and most important, always there when other women need to talk, talk, talk. Here's a report.
Then I did it. I closed my eyes and I exhaled.
When they first got geeked about buying the movie rights, I didn't think it would make such a hot movie myself, because it was about a bunch of black chicks living life. And this is really a character-driven story and not a plot-driven story.
You know what's funny? I always thought if I gave him what he needed, he'd give me what I needed.
When the best-selling novel Waiting to Exhale was released, author Terry McMillan was criticized for the way she depicted her male characters.
For me, it's about women who make bad choices, you know, which is one reason why, you know, I was dissed, or I was dissed for dissing black men.
Whitney Houston, whose career-oriented character Savannah has a hard time meeting the right man, laughs at the idea that Waiting to Exhale is a movie about disrespecting men.
Oh, no, please. No. If it was, we wouldn't even talk about you guys. There's nothing to say but dog.
Mama, do you hear me? I have a job. I have friends. Ma, I have interests that you don't even ask about.
The movie's real focus is on the 4 women and their nurturing relationships with one another.
Your friends are who you can count on. When you don't have a man in your life and things aren't going well with your job, your friends will never leave you. Your friends will always be there. Men will come and go out of your life.
I'm 33 years old. Ooh, good. And I still look good.
I still look good. You look good, girl.
They just really, genuinely care about each other and are trying to help each other through it.
When you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find your point when you will exhale.
Whitney Houston acknowledges the recent proliferation of female bonding films, but notes Waiting to Exhale is distinct in at least one obvious way.
I think you've seen it, but you've never seen it before African-American women. I can tell you that. I've seen 4 women on screen before, having a great time and doing their thing, you know, of the other. But now it's this.
Whitney Houston's title hit from Waiting to Exhale is currently lodged near the top of the Billboard chart, and she'll have her own greatest hits collection out in March. Toni Braxton, also represented on the movie's soundtrack, will release her second album in March as well. And another Exhale soundtrack contributor, soul veteran Aretha Franklin, will have a new album out in May, produced by East Coast Hip Hop.
And he has gotten on my last nerve.
Exhale follows 4 women who are looking for Mr. Right, but too often end up with Mr. Wrong. The love in Houston's life is Bobby Brown, whose bad boy image so counters her good girl behavior that they have had to face rumors of a breakup throughout their marriage. Houston does not dignify those reports, preferring to focus on her own memories.
I had the perfect wedding. My wedding was beautiful. I had every flower that I wanted. I did. I had every tooling on my dress. From Paris, I had the most beautiful wedding that I had ever been to. And I was married. I was in it.
And it was mine.
And it was mine.
I just wondered if you had that Ozzie and Harriet fantasy.
No, my mom was a little more realistic than that. She said, girlfriend, let me tell you something. That is a bunch of crap. We are not guaranteed that we are going to get married and find a great guy who's going to take care of us for the rest of our lives and do right by us and have kids and have the White House with the picket fence and all that bull. No, we're not guaranteed that. We found out. So therefore, we have to become our own people and go out and work and maybe even take care of our own children by ourselves sometimes. You know, go out, make the money for the bacon, get the bacon, come home and cook it, and put it on the table.
It's a theme echoed in the film as well. As directed by Forrest Whitaker, Exhale's cynicism and comedy carry all the way into the bedroom. Here, sex scenes are played for laughs.
Does he think he just did something here? I could have had a V8.
Houston was put in a similar position. Her love scenes may come as a surprise to some. They certainly were a surprise to her.
Forrest and I had meetings on this love scene. I was like, okay, Forrest, let me tell you something. This guy's gonna be humping me, you know? And you know, he said, no, Whitney, just think how funny it's gonna be. How funny this is gonna be when women actually remember these moments and remember that they've been there. And he said that. They remember that they've been there. And I thought, I've never been there before. That's never happened to me. I've never had nobody hunt me like that and me not enjoy it. Forget it.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you gotta go. Out of here. Get up. Oh, please get up. Go. See ya.
Do you think it's possible to do it all? To have it all?
No. I don't think it's possible to have it all. Who wants it all? It's a lot to handle. Just want just the pieces that are mine, that are good. And then I did it. I closed my eyes and
Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett, and their friends had a huge reason to celebrate this weekend. Their film, Waiting to Exhale, blew away the competition, landing in the #1 box office slot. That's no small feat, considering it's one of the only major films in history with 4 African-American women in the lead roles.
Buzz Lightyear to the rescue.
Following Toy Story and Jumanji, grumpier old men had reason not...
Now Whitney Houston has topped herself.
I'm 33 years old. Good. And I still look good.
It's more than looks. Whitney's joined the power class in Hollywood, and E.T. has the reason why.
One at the box office, and that means Whitney has become a Hollywood heavyweight.
I'm 33 years old. Good. And I still look good.
Whitney not only looks like $1 million, she looks like 14 million. That's how much her new movie, Waiting to Exhale, raked in on its opening weekend. Whether critics like it or not, she's a bona fide movie star. Just ask her fans.
I definitely think that Whitney Houston has proven that she can be an actress as well as a singer.
I think Whitney is a good actor, she's a good singer, and she's pretty, of course.
Whitney's marital problems didn't slow her down. With husband Bobby Brown at the premiere last week, she said she expected big things from the movie.
I'm pretty sure it'll open up a lot of doors for very talented people, such as African-American men and women, not only in front of the screens, but behind the screens.
But what kind of personal doors would Whitney like to open? After movies, music, and magazine covers, what's left? Well, there's a clue in the new issue of Harper's in which Whitney compares herself to Barbra Streisand.
I think Barbra Streisand is a role model for her, somebody who went on to become a producer, a director, a major star, and of course a great singer. And I think that's the kind of person Whitney wants to be, all of those things, I think.
Jess Cagle of Entertainment Weekly says Streisand may have Whitney beat behind the camera for now, but watch out in front of the lens.
I don't think she has the abilities as far as filmmaking goes that Streisand has, but she certainly has the star potential. In fact, she may have more star potential than Streisand at this point.
Hollywood's already paying for Whitney's star power. She has signed on to make her next movie. It's called The Preacher's Wife, and Whitney will reportedly earn $10 million.
#1 film in the country. Relationships counted behind the scenes, too, between the director and his cast and the screenwriter and her novel. Sherry Sylvester spoke with the team who put the steam into Waiting to Exhale.
Terry McMillan wants to make one thing clear. She is no sentimentalist, and when she adapted her bestseller for the big screen, she did it without the hanky quotient of most female films.
You see, the more I think about it, the more I look at you, you look like the scum of the earth.
They didn't sit around whining all the time. You know, they weren't moping, they weren't all depressed. It's not that kind of a story. It's a slice of their life, and they're going through something that are being tested. And whether or not they pass the test is how well they pay attention.
It is the story of 4 women in search of 4 men and was inspired in part by the dreams and fantasies created by movies, music, and magazines.
Every month, you know, 6 or 7 publications. How to find Mr. Right, how to get rid of Mr. Wrong. You know, 20 different places to look for Mr. Wonderful.
A Mr. Right was found to direct the film. Forrest Whitaker approached the story by looking for the music in the lives of the characters.
This is like 4 distinct stories, plus they come together, and I wanted to figure out a way to weave it. And I did that through music, or at least trying to figure out the music of the piece. And the movie was a melody for me. It was kind of a ballad.
Scoring sessions were crucial, as were the voiceover thoughts of the actresses.
Does he think he just did something here? I could have had a V8.
And sometimes changing performances, you know, after, you know, changing things, changing what they say, changing narration, changing the way they perform in certain scenes.
But he says no amount of music or voiceover work could make up for bad chemistry. The 4 actresses became fast friends during rehearsals. Whitaker often made himself scarce, and McMillan was impressed by the lack of attitude on the set.
Everybody wants to think Whitney's a diva,
right.
Angela's a diva, and you know, you'd be surprised at what these folks are really like behind closed doors. They're just regular people. You know, I'm sure Whitney doesn't do her own laundry, but the bottom line is they don't want to be treated like movie stars.
Like I can bend a note, you can bend a line.
And together, those who worked on Waiting to Exhale make beautiful music, minus the violins. Sherry Sylvester, CNN, Los Angeles.
Discussion groups around the country. It's a film about 4 professional African-American women looking for love and finding themselves in the process. Renee Poussaint found out why this movie is what people are talking about.
For every win, someone must fail. But there comes a point when we exhale, yeah.
You could call it the Waiting to Exhale phenomenon. Since the movie's opening 3 weeks ago, the lines for this virtually all-black film have gotten wider.
And I think any woman that's ever been out there, been single and been out there, can identify with the themes in this movie.
You had to answer to that one, honey. And its financial grosses higher, up to $36 million and climbing.
It was important for us to see it together as, you know, sisters after New Year, so we could just exhale together.
But most of that money is still coming from black women, buying their tickets in bulk, going to Exhale in groups, some as large as 40.
It felt right. It just felt right. I loved it.
We sat down with 5 Washington women who were part of one such group to find out what all the excitement is about.
Well, you could look on the screen and see women who, you know, whose lives replicated something that you could relate to. They weren't prostitutes.
It was a chick flick kind of thing, and we all were going to hang out and see the chick flick.
I'm 33 years old.
Ooh, good.
And I still look good.
But that's causing problems with many of their male friends. They won't go.
He didn't like the book. He felt the book really insulted black men.
Most of the men in the movie are losers of some kind, but there are a few winners. And Waiting to Exhale's author, Terry McMillan, says enough already with growing accusations that her movie is anti-male.
I'm like really sick and tired of hearing even critics saying, you know, oh, it's definitely a male-bashing movie. I basically chose these guys as losers intentionally to point out that these women chose them. Not to say that all black men are losers, because they aren't.
The women were not victims. I mean, they some of the problems they had, they caused themselves.
One woman was a magnet for fools. And
yes,
there are a lot of women who are magnets for fools.
Absolutely.
Like Angela Bassett's character, whose husband suddenly tells her on the way to a party,
I'm leaving you for her.
You wait a minute. I give you 11 years of my life and you're telling me you're leaving me for another woman?
Her revenge usually gets audiences literally shouting at the screen.
When she burnt that car up, I think I clapped and cheered too. So.
That very personal audience response has even stunned the film's director, Forrest Whitaker.
That I think the thing that surprises me the most was, you know, when you go into the theater and the way the audience is responding. you know, because they're screaming at the screen and talking back to the characters, and they're going in large groups. And I think that's something I could never have predicted.
One group member said truly relating to the film means being African American.
I think it was definitely a black movie. I think that Terry McMillan was trying to talk to black women.
But many of her group colleagues and an increasing number of non-African American moviegoers say no.
And I know that a number of white people, myself included, enjoyed the film and was interested to see the film.
I would say it's told primarily from a woman's perspective first. And that's, I think, what we can identify with.
I think underneath it was a good, strong message about friends and relationships.
In the end, they all agreed Waiting to Exhale is a celebration of women, helping each other to relax and exhale with laughter.
Happening. Women are flocking to this movie in throngs and then throwing parties in honor of these women of color who have become some of, I would say, the first positive role models the contemporary movie world has seen.
And it has empowered a lot of us, because now you see it and now you look at yourself and you say, wow, was I really that stupid?
It's happening all over the country. Black women celebrating a movie that's touching a nerve.
Hello. Oh, Angela's bad. Once we have seen ourselves portrayed in a more decent manner, instead of being whores or hookers, or worse even, being seen as crack addicted, baby breeding, career welfare recipients.
Waiting to Exhale follows 4 successful black women searching for Mr. Right, stumbling over many Mr. Wrongs. So is this gal buddy flick guy bashing?
No, girl. The men who are calling it male bashing
are not real men.
Because it's so real.
And I think it makes all women say, hey, I've made some mistakes, and hopefully they'll be strong enough and wise enough within themselves to say, this is why, and this is what I've done, and I can be better.
From sororities to social clubs, women have been waiting to exhale. Now they're partying, like these New Yorkers, letting off steam, bonding like the boys.
I think every woman in America is able to relate to some character, some scene. I think I can relate to every character in the movie. I've been there, did that, don't want to go back.
Oh, God, I hope he's not watching me walk away.
All right.
He's watching.
So why does Waiting to Exhale have these women breathless? Maybe it's the message. You can survive without a man.
There is a real big difference between being alone and being lonely. Hello. Yeah.
What is it about this movie that's causing such a celebration of sisterhood? Well, joining us live from Los Angeles to talk about this is radio talk show host Mother Love. Good afternoon, Mother.
Good afternoon.
So, did you love it? Oh, look at you.
Oh, I loved it. I love the movie. After I picked it to pieces, I absolutely loved it.
Now, for people who may not have seen it, can't imagine that, but is this a movie about race more, or is it about gender?
It's more about gender. And because it happens to be African-American women, you know, which let's make no mistake, the story is about 4 black women and their relationships with their men, period. And the universal appeal is because women are saying, wait a minute, why is she showing my life up on the screen? I've been there. I have been there too. So.
But do you think the appeal is universal, though, to all women that we have all gone out with? Let's just call them dogs.
Nah, Dana, you know, like I know, if you love men, you know that we know men right away couldn't understand, well, what does waiting to exhale mean? We hold our breath for that person to come along into our lives, to share our lives with. And I think the movie is about empowering women, to let them know, yeah, we make mistakes, we fall down, we go boom, and there's nothing wrong with getting up and becoming better and making yourself better.
Now, there are men out there that believe that it's just a movie that's anti-male.
Right, because they don't have a clue, and a bunch of little boys think that way. What I suggested to my 18-year-old son is to go and see the movie so that you know what women go through, so that you don't have to send a woman through all those unnecessary changes. Be in tune with yourself enough to be able to respond to her. That's all that it is.
You know, though, I want to turn to one point in the movie that may concern the majority of America, white America. There is that myth, and I don't know if it was debunked in the movie, that black women don't like black men going out with white women.
Oh, and white women don't like white men going out with black women, and Asian men don't like Asian men. The whole thing. It's not about. It would be if she was rich, if she were red-haired, if she were tall, if she were fat, if she were skinny. It's another adjective to add to that. Here is somebody who walked away from me to go for somebody else. That it's the adjective that you put in the front, and it's convenient because we live in a racist society, and that's like the easy thing to do. But it would be the same thing if my man went off with you. I'd be like, that cow just because she on TV. That's why he went off with her.
No, I would be afraid you would come after me.
I would come after. No, I wouldn't, girl. Let him go, because after a while, you would bring him back here, mother love. You'd bring him back.
Transition from singer to actress in her new movie, Waiting to Exhale. And as Madeline McFadden tells us, that's not the only change going on in Whitney's life.
It's okay, Whitney. You can exhale. It seems your new look has been declared a smashing success. In Whitney Houston's new music video, which accompanies her movie Waiting to Exhale, Houston unveils a hip, sleek, and sophisticated style.
I absolutely think she looks fabulous. I think Whitney looks more modern and better than she ever has.
But Whitney hasn't always had such a winning look. Over the past decade, the singing sensation's changing styles have sometimes hit a sour note. Andrea Pomerantz is the beauty director for Cosmopolitan magazine.
Whitney really had an overdone 80s look. The eyeshadow, she was very much a disco queen then.
Ellen LeVar also remembers Houston's 80s days. She's been Whitney's hairdresser for the past 11 years.
Now, looking back, I was like, okay, it was glamorous for then, but it wouldn't be glamorous for now. It was a lot of hair. But she liked it at the time.
But Whitney eventually scaled back, going for a much softer look in her 1992 movie, The Bodyguard.
Well, excuse me if I don't faint.
I like her hair in The Bodyguard, and I like the length, like right at the jawline. I think that's really sweet on her.
Pomerantz believes the new, subtle Houston was a reflection of the singer's personal life.
She had just gotten married. She was having a baby. This was the mother, mother-to-be Whitney.
But a few years later, Houston's marriage to singer Bobby Brown was rumored to be on the rocks, and Whitney changed her look once again.
She wanted to project to the world an image of I'm on top of the world and kind of I'm big, I'm larger than life, and that's kind of what her hair was saying during that period.
And for all you Whitney watchers out there, enjoy her new look while you can.
And now we're getting ready to think of something else, but we'll have to let you wait to see that.
And Waiting to Exhale looks like another hit for Whitney. It's #2 at the box office last week and has already sold $36 million.
They are huge talents with one man behind them, Arista Records president Clive Davis. He's the man behind the music. Many say the most powerful man in the recording industry today. Clive Davis founded Arista Records back in 1975. Among his proudest moments, his discovery of Whitney Houston.
Clive, I'd like to thank you for again. It seems virtually impossible to do anything without you.
He's seen more than 250 recordings reach gold, platinum, and multi-platinum status. And his amazing list of stars includes Aretha Franklin, Barry Manilow, Carly Simon, and Whitney Houston.
Clive came to showcase, half hour late, and he walked in, I sang what I had, did what I had to do, and then he left. I didn't think that he was very excited about it or anything, but then I got a call saying that he really wanted to sign me and that he really wanted me.
To commemorate your honor tonight.
Last year, the T.J. Martell Foundation honored Clive as Humanitarian of the Year. The event brought together some of Clive's favorite artists, all wishing him well as he celebrates the 20th anniversary of Arista Records.
Supermodels. If you hear a couple of black supermodels muttering the phrase, Houston, we have a problem, it has nothing to do with the movie Apollo 13. It has to do with Whitney Houston. More specifically, the fact that Whitney Houston has the cover of Harper's Bazaar. This upsets black models because there are so few covers out there that go to black models. They don't like when a cover goes to a woman who's black and not a model. Enter Whitney Houston. I know she was a teen model, But let's face it, she's a singer-actress, and women like Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks and Veronica Webb, they don't like that. But here's my take on the whole thing. You know, for years now, actresses have had to put up with fancy, pretty models getting their roles. If you don't believe me, Cindy Crawford, Famke Jensen, Natasha Henstridge, Elle Macpherson, it happens. So if that's the case, then models now have to accept the fact that actresses are going to get fashion covers. That's it. End of story. That's all for now. I'm A.J. Benza with the New York Daily News.